Because Dr. Posley was personally involved.
And as an executive officer, yes.
Okay. So, and I just want to be clear because maybe I misunderstood you. You're saying that if an executive officer is not involved, then you bring it to to that non-executive officer's attention before going to the board, or something else?
So after the 21st, I made the decision that in order to allow an executive officer that oversees an area in which I have found, through my investigation, an issue that requires curing, to give that executive officer, so long as they're not involved, the opportunity to cure it.
Okay, so if Dr. Posley had not been involved in involuntarily reassigning, or in fact responsible for involuntarily reassigning Dr. Keither, then you would have gone to Dr. Posley and told him about the complaint. Is that right?
I'm going to object. Ms. Dave's prior testimony assumes facts, is argumentative, and is incomplete hypothetical.
That is the process that I would follow subsequent to that 21st.
Are whistleblowers aware of that policy shift?
The phone calls for speculation.
Subsequent to the 21st, that is communicated to people who approach me in that capacity.
Did you communicate that to Teresa Folleron?
I believe so.
Okay. What management personnel did you communicate with about Teresa Folleron's complaint?
Dr. Posley. Dr. Posley is the individual with whom I recall.
Okay. Based on that situation with Teresa Folleron, do you believe that your new policy is working or effective?
Using the case of the NPSU matter, it's debatable.
Okay. Have you communicated to the board Teresa Folleron's concerns?
No.
Why not?
They were communicated to Dr. Posley, and he was given the opportunity to cure them.
Okay. When was that?
I don't recall.
About how long ago was it?
I believe within the past year.
Okay. So based on your knowledge of the MPSU fraud investigation, do you believe that Dr. Posley took the opportunity to cure the complaints that you raised to him?
Check the form, foundation, cause for speculation.
Attempts were made. I don't know how effective they were.
What attempts?
I think follow-up conversations about the findings that I had reached.
Okay. Do you believe that removing Teresa Folleron's hard drives from her work computer was part of that response?
I don't know.
Would that be an appropriate action to cure the situation, or something else?
Check the foundation.
Without knowing any of the details, that doesn't appear to be a good response.
Okay. So based on your knowledge, again, of the MPSU fraud to date, do you believe that Dr. Posley took you up on your opportunity to cure?
Not in an effective way.
Okay. Do you believe that he tried to cure the problem?
Check the foundation.
I think he directed others to fix it.
Okay. And do you believe that those directions were wholehearted or sincere?
Check. Cause speculation, lack of foundation.
I believe the direction was wholehearted and sincere.
Okay. Who did he direct to solve these problems?
I don't recall.
Okay, Michael Harris, for example.
If not directly, indirectly.
Okay, and who is Michael Harris, if you know?
I believe he's the Senior Director of Talent Management.
You're gonna have to tell me what talent management is, if you can.
I believe that is one of the arms within Human Resources responsible for, I think, recruitment and hiring.
Okay. Okay, so based on your experience with MPSU fraud investigation, would you change your policy of notifying executive management of the whistleblower complaints?
I have wrestled with what an appropriate solution in this space is.
Why?
Because a clear solution that balances all the interests, including those of the complainants who come forward. I've had a hard time determining the way that is an effective one.
Okay. Do you believe that a whistleblower complaint at MPS has a realistic chance of resolution if Dr. Posley is involved in the allegation?
Okay. I'm gonna check closest speculation, argumentative, and lack of foundation.
I mean, it would be on a case by case to be sure.
Okay. What about Calvin Furman's complaints?
Can you repeat the previous question then?
Oh, sure. Do you believe that a whistleblower complaint at MPS has a realistic chance of resolution if Dr. Posley is involved in the allegation?
Within the context of Calvin Furman's whistleblower complaint is
Complaints. Because there's two of them, correct?
correct.
Okay.
I don't have strong confidence.
Okay. Let's talk about the second complaint that Mr. Furman made. Okay? And
Can you number them for me? So
sure, 1 and 2. One is the general complaint about Dr. Posley's leadership and exit survey and management style, and describing Dr. Posley as reactive.
So what I had in terms of a whistleblower complaint from Mr. Furman was twofold, but it was involving the toxicity under Marla Bernal,
Okay.
and then a concern about a inappropriate relationship with Marla Bernal by Dr. Posley.
Okay. Was there a, I guess to put it another way, there's a document that Calvin Furman drafted called an exit interview. Did you receive that document?
I did, yes.
Okay. Is that is that a complaining document or something else?
He complains in this document, but it is separate from the whistleblower complaint that he brought to me.
Okay. So you didn't investigate anything in that letter there?
Not as the result of having received this document.
Okay. Did you share that letter with the board at any time?
I believe the board, I did not, but I believe that it was shared with the board.
Okay.
And
What was?
can you identify the record for the exhibit number for the record? So
We're talking about Exhibit 2, isn't that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Just want to make sure we can find it later when we're reading through it.
Great. So, now I just want to be clear again, because I feel like I may have asked this before, but I must have been confused. You've got this exit survey. He comes to your office. Does he give you 2 additional documents with 2 additional complaints? Does he orally tell you these complaints? How is this 2 complaints communicated to you?
Yeah, he provided for me a document in which what I consider twofold were the complaints that I described.
Okay, so now I understand. So, let's just start with the toxic environment under Director Brunat. What was the allegations of toxicity there?
Yeah, non-supportive of staff, again, sort of a hyper scrutiny, micromanaging, and just an otherwise unhealthy environment.
And that's fair to say that those are the same allegations that were made against Chief Holliday, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And at that time, they were both peers, correct? Chiefs directly reporting to Superintendent Posley.
At the time of each individual's concerns, yes.
I appreciate that. Okay. So, to be clear, the parallel is between when the complaints happened, not necessarily one moment in time.
Correct.
Okay. And the parallels are fair based on your understanding, correct?
Certainly based on the title of and their placement in the organization.
Okay. And again, the accusations of toxicity as well.
Yes.
And micromanagement as well?
Yes.
Okay. Now, it's my understanding that Miss, and how do you pronounce her last name? Brunat was the only chief that reported directly to Superintendent Posley.
Chick Foundation.
I believe that's correct. At the time, the other chiefs would have reported through the deputy superintendent. I believe that's correct.
Okay. And so, do you know why Miss Brunat had unmediated access to the superintendent?
Check the foundation, cause speculation.
I don't know.
Okay. Now, there's a second allegation against of improper relationship. Is that right?
Yes.
What was the nature of that allegation?
Just that either through favoritism or access or really anything under those two umbrellas, that it was divisive to and not conducive to a good team environment with the rest of the colleagues.
Okay, why was Director or Chief Brunat enjoying such favorable treatment?
Check foundation, cause speculation.
I don't know.
Okay, what was the allegation made by Mr. Furman?
That there was an inappropriate relationship. It was not characterized any further, just that under the employee handbook there is a non-fraternization language that says that there should not be any inappropriate relationship that can lead to sort of the challenges that happen on a team when there's that level of favoritism and access and what have you.
Okay, and did you understand that relationship at that time to be warmer than that of ordinary friendship?
Objective form foundation.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay, how did you understand the relationship at that time?
Just broad access to Dr. Posley.
Okay. So he didn't give the reasons for the access. He just said that she was enjoying undue access. Is that accurate?
I'm going to check form. This states prior testimony.
Um,
Assumes facts. Argumentative.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, so he didn't give the reasons for the access, he just stated she was enjoying undue access, is that accurate?
That is correct.
Okay. And what steps, if any, did you take to investigate these allegations?
So that was part of what was handed over to Miriam Horowitz as the external investigator when I had asked the board to allow the board to bring in an external investigator to review that concern.
Okay. What was the result of Miriam Horowitz's findings?
I don't know that she investigated them. I don't know.
Well, you saw the report, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How is it after seeing the report you're not aware of whether or not she investigated the accusations?
I don't know to what extent that she did.
Okay. Did she make any conclusions?
I don't recall seeing any.
Check some vague.
Oops.
Okay. Did she recommend any action?
I believe the recommendation in the report was to demote Chief Brunat.
Why?
Check foundation, cause speculation.
Based on her investigative findings about the toxicity underneath Chief Brunat.
Okay. And that's in distinction from the, not the findings, but the outcome of Robin Peterson's investigation into Dr. Holliday, correct?
Can you repeat that?
And that's in distinction from not the findings, but the outcome of Robin Peterson's investigation of Dr. Holliday, correct?
Both were demoted. Is that the distinction you're talking about?
Okay, but you are aware that Marla Brunei was demoted in as a direct result of the outcome of the Miriam Horowitz report, correct?
That's my understanding.
Okay, but you don't have direct knowledge of whether Jeremiah Holliday was demoted as a result of the Robin Patterson report, correct?
I don't have that. That's an inference that I've made based on the temporal proximity to my having raised that in front of the board and the subsequent.
Right, but and what we're talking about is you're raising to the board in January of 2021, not the Peterson report, which comes out the previous year.
Correct.
Okay. Because as we understand it, you and I,